Hey guys, Zix here. Time for the next educational video. Today we're going to be talking about market structure. And there's a lot of different terms and things and stuff to go along with this, but basically we're going to be looking at what swing traders use and how they do it. So let's go ahead and write that down too. We're going to be looking at a breaks of structure. Otherwise known as a boss. We're going to be looking at change of character, which we have done a video on before. I recommend you go look at that. Watch that video, linked in the description below, because this video is not going to be focusing so heavily on that concept, more about the structure as a whole, but it's important to consider change of character while we're doing it. And then we're going to be looking at multi-time frame analysis as well. That's the basic things we're going to be covering in this video. But before we do any of that, it's important to have the very base of what we're looking at. We have our uptrend and we have our downtrend. So when we have an uptrend, it's pretty clear what's happening. Everybody knows what an uptrend looks like. Very simple. And then eventually it gets to a point where this kind of thing happens like this, and then it changes to a downtrend, right? This is your most common pattern. We can call it the Christmas tree if you want. We can call it the triple top if you want. The head and shoulders if you want. Whatever. There's a whole lot of or Wyckoff distribution. There's a whole lot of different ways that people call this top pattern here. But the reality is, when you're looking at market structure, all we are looking at is shifts in character, changes of character, to determine which direction we are trading. Because if we are looking to make a trade and we're beginners, the best bet, the highest probability, is to trade the direction, the overall direction the chart is going on a high time frame. And we can use lower time frames for more pinpoint entry. But the idea is, if we're looking at this uptrend and we know it's an uptrend on weekly, daily, hourly, all that good stuff, we're looking for longs. We're not necessarily looking to trade the pullback, because it can be very difficult to time a pullback, but it can be a lot more high probability to trade the continuation. So let's go over a few of these common terms, and then we'll be able to start looking at a chart. So first things first, on an uptrend you have a line, then you have a pullback. That pullback then creates what we call, a weak high. Creates a weak high. And that's what this is right here. Let's write that down. I'm gonna just do WH for weak high. The idea for a weak high is that the intention is for price to break that high and continue in the direction it was previously going. However, we don't know how far back this pullback is going to go, so we don't know when to enter a long. We'll get to that later, but for now, once this pullback happens and then continues up and then breaks this level, we get what's called a break of structure. Actually, let me put that right on there. Hello. Thank you. Break of structure, otherwise known as a boss. Who's the boss, right? Once we get a break of structure, we now have a target for a low, which is right here. We now have our low target. This now becomes a strong low. Okay? So let's write that down. It'll probably be better to just put it here. Strong low. Okay? Now, the idea is that price is going to pull back eventually, right? But in order for the trend to continue, price can't break this low. If price breaks this low, we get a chotch, and we're potentially heading in the other direction. However, price can go all the way down to it. It can wick it, right? Don't close on the time frame you're looking at. Don't close, but it can wick it and not be considered broken. And then it continues up. We once again get another break of structure right here, right? Now, once that happens, this low becomes irrelevant. We're going to erase it completely. It's gone. It becomes irrelevant. It's off the chart. Goodbye. You are the weakest link. This now becomes our new boss. And this level becomes our new strong low. We continue up. We have a pullback, right? This becomes our weak high. We have a pullback, and then we come back up. We break this. This now, instead of a weak high, becomes a break of structure. And we now have a new strong low. This low becomes irrelevant. Now, it can be a level on your chart, okay? It can be a level on your chart. You see a lot of confluence. If you look back in the past and you see give me the thing, please. Thank you. You see price is reacting at this level a lot, right? This is the worst path ever drawn known to man. But you can kind of see here that if price is reacting at this level a lot, you can go ahead and keep this line on the chart. Just relabel it, right? Relabel it as strong support if price is above it, or strong resistance if price is below it, and then you can use it as added confluence when price approaches it later on in the future. However, it's not a strong low anymore, so you need to remove that from your chart, otherwise you are going to confuse yourself. So, we broke structure, then we came up here, we have another pullback, right here. This becomes our strong low. We come back up, we have a pullback. However, what ends up happening is we broke this strong low. This now becomes a chotch. This is now a change of character. We're now looking to change directions, okay? So once that happens, the break of structure shifts. So instead of being on the top, it's going to be on the bottom. So now, once we have that, we're going to look for the highest point between this low and this break of structure. That highest point is right here. So now this becomes a strong high. This becomes a strong high. So whenever we have these break of structures up, the lowest point becomes the strong low. However, since we had a chotch here, we're looking from this point to this point, and we're looking at the highest point, and that becomes our strong high. This now is the level to beat on the chart until we break it, until we break structure again, which we do right here. So we break structure again here. This was originally the weak low, right? Because we were on a downtrend, this became the weak low. However, we broke structure and continued down. That means this now becomes our strong high. Remember, it's between the 2 points. So it's between this weak low and where we broke structure. The highest point in between those becomes the strong high. So then we continue down. Now we're getting pretty repetitive. Break a structure, yada, yada, yada. This becomes our strong high. Eventually, we'll get another pullback. We could either come down like this. Come on, thank you. Or we could do the same thing that happened up here, just in reverse, right? And then we can, work our way up. And then this would now become a chotch. And then we're looking to trade up. We're looking to trade up. Now, you may have seen other people talk about chotches a little bit differently than I am. Right? Let me clear all this out, and then I'll be right back. All right, so we're back. So now I've got a little bit more accurate path. Obviously, when you're looking at a chart, this is a very simplistic look at it, so that we can get a good overall view. However, when you're looking at real live charts, they don't look like this, right? They're kind of crazy, right? They've got all this stuff going all over the place. So a lot of people will call this a chotch right here. This level right here was changed, and then it continued up. This to me, see, I look at this differently. This to me is inner structure. I'm not looking to try to see chotches on a higher time frame. Let's say this is the daily chart, right? So in reality, we're looking for a chotch on the 4-hour chart. In my opinion, I would rather be in the 4-hour time frame looking for a trend shift and a 4-hour time frame, a change of character, as opposed to trying to spot it on the higher time frame. I'm going to show you examples of this on a live chart or later. I know that may sound very confusing for what I'm saying right now, but if you're on Discord or you're talking to people or somebody watching this video disagrees with how I call a chotch, keep in mind, whatever works for you as a trader is whatever works for you as a trader. These are all concepts that can be, a lot of them are subjective. You can treat them your own way. For me, I am not trying to see chachas on a higher time frame. I want to see a chach on a lower time frame for confirmation entry. And then we continued up. You can see we broke structure right here. We had an immediate pullback and then continued up. We broke structure again right away. Then we had a pullback all the way up here. This low never broke. And then we went ahead and created another break of structure here. Let's erase that. So we had a small pullback here, which created a new low, right? This became the low because we had a pullback. This low is no longer relevant, okay? As far as swing structure, this low goes away. Once this break of structure happens, the previous low is erased, and you're creating a new low, and that is now becomes your trading level to beat. So now that we've done that, I want to go ahead and get a live look at chart. Well, it's not live, but you'll see what I mean. At a chart, we're going to look at Bitcoin, and then we'll go from there. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, so obviously this is a replay of Bitcoin. This is not live. This is what, May of 2020. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit the play button, and we're going to let this develop. But before we do that, I want to mark out some levels. I'm not going to worry about this right here because this is, barely any movement at all. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to piece by piece look at the Bitcoin monthly as it grows and develops. And then we're going to do weekly, and then we're going to do daily, and then we're going to do 4 hour, then we're going to do 15-minute. Okay? But first, let's look at the monthly. So right now, we don't really have a trend. I guess you could call this an uptrend because it came from here. But we know what ends up happening. So we're going to call this the monthly week high. So we have a... I want that on the top. Thank you. So right now, this is our level. This is our high to beat. It's a week high, which means we are anticipating price will break this. We don't have a low, because price has not yet broken this, so we don't know what the low would be, right? How do we know what a pullback is? That is a very subjective, difficult concept to completely grasp because you can't just accept a price amount or percentage move as a constant for a pullback. Because as price changes, that number changes, right? So if we look at how far this move is right here for this pullback from here all the way down to here, you're looking at an 85% move, okay? But this same size move from 70 to 60 is only 15%. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to kind of just let your eye be the judge for you as price develops. As you get better, you can decide how far you want those moves to be to determine what a pullback is. And it's very important to know when it's a pullback and not a pullback, because often price will just kind of hang out in a spot. And if you mark that as a pullback and try to trade it and it's not, you're going to end up losing. And I will show you that as we go. But for now, we'll just say this is a monthly pullback. So we're going to go ahead and hit play. Let it go. I may have to speed this up in post-production. But right now, this is all inner structure. We're moving up and down. Very soon, it's going to blast up. As many of you know, that's what happened. Okay, so we haven't broke it. We've only broke it. So we've paused it. Now, this monthly week high, as you saw, it was wicking it. That did not constitute a break of structure yet, because it was only wicking. However, once we had this open, technically this candle hasn't closed yet. I do know this candle closes above. You know what? Let's let it finish. There we go. Okay. So you really need to wait for the candle to close, because this could come all the way back down and it not work. So once that happens, this now becomes a break of structure on the monthly, like so. So we'll go ahead and say emboss. Well, you do it like that. Monthly break of structure. So where's our low? Where's our monthly low at this point? Our monthly low at this point is 3,122 and 28 cents. That becomes our monthly low. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there. We're going to go ahead and put that on there. Monthly strong low. We don't know what the high is yet because we don't have a pullback yet. So let's go ahead and hit play. Let this develop. When you're looking at pullbacks, all right, there's another thing to keep in mind. We're looking at candle closure for pullbacks. Now, if you see this wick right here, right, and you see it's a pretty significant movement, right? It's all the way down from 41, almost 42,000, all the way down to 33,000, $9,000 move, almost the same as this, right? However, it's in one candle. It didn't close and then shoot another candle down. So this is not a pullback. This is normal movement up. So we continued up. Once again, same thing. We're wicking. These are not pullbacks. Once again, wicking. Give me a closure here. Okay. Now we've got our first pullback right here on the monthly chart. So now we can start drawing some levels. So we know that this now becomes the monthly week high. I like to put the part on the top if it's a high, and I like to put the words on the low if it's a low. Obviously, do it however you want. So now that becomes a monthly week high. So now, on a normal chart, obviously this is monthly, so a lot of different things can happen. But on a normal chart, price can come all the way back down here before continuing back up and breaking structure. We don't know when this will stop, right? I mean, obviously we know because this is all hindsight. But if this was alive, we have no idea where this is going to go down. It can go all, like I said, it could go down here. It could wick, well, not to negative, but it could wick to $200 and work its way back up. We don't know. We don't know what it's going to do. So trying to time that sometimes is not necessarily the best idea. So let's let this play out. Working our way back up. Will we break structure? Oh, well, I think we all know we will. But let's let it happen live, huh? Monthly hasn't closed. We're not broken. We haven't broken structure. We wicked, but we haven't broken structure. So this is all inner structure. Nothing's changed. Still the same general structure. A lot of people getting bearish right now. And we are live, my friends. So, what happened here? This, my friends, is what we call, I should have added it here, but this is what we call an SFP. So an SFP is a swing failure pattern. Well, that's monthly SFP. This is what we call a swing fail pattern. So what ended up happening is we wicked this line, right? But we didn't close above it. That is a major sign of weakness in the market. We can, put that here, there, put that here too. This is a sign of major sign of weakness. This almost always means price is going to head back down. It doesn't mean it's going to go down forever, but this pretty much always means that price is going to go back down. So right now, we are still within inner structure of this monthly week high and this monthly strong low, which means, my friends, monthly is monthly is bullish. Which is kind of crazy if you think about it, the way the market's been lately. But monthly is in fact bullish. And what I like to do is I like to keep this on my chart so that we can have an idea of where it is and what's happening. Because whenever you're doing multi-time frame analysis, it's important to know what the time frame above the time frame you're looking at, what structure that is heading in. So at this point on the weekly, we should be looking for a chotch on the weekly to confirm a long for the monthly. Now, you're not going to ride a long all the way up here because that's insane. It could take, 6 months to do it. And we'll talk about, entry and targets and all that stuff later in the video. If we have time. I don't want this video to take too long. I might do a part 2 for this video on how to actually, do your position and entry. We'll see how long this goes, and then we'll decide after the fact. So at this point, monthly is bullish, and we want this to show up on every chart. We want all these monthly levels to show up on every time frame below. Shoot. Maybe not the break of structure, but the high and the low we want to show up. This doesn't need to be here. Come on. This only needs to be on the monthly. I don't need to see that on other time frames. And the reason why I'm doing that, if I might be going too fast here, the visibility, it's important to not have a messy chart. I don't need to see 15-minute lines on the monthly chart. It's just going to look like this, right? That's just going to be a mess. That doesn't tell me anything. So I don't need to see that on the monthly. But monthly you can see on every chart because it's going to be far away from everything else you're looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and reset the clock, and then we're going to do this for the weekly time frame, and then I will see you guys when we get there. Be right back. Okay, we are back. So there's a lot more movement, as you can see here on the weekly chart. So I'm going to backtrack it a little bit, but as you can see, these levels never broke, at least at this point. So we have ourselves the weekly. This is now the weekly time frame. So as we're going up, this is subjective. Now, this is what I was talking about, having to determine what a pullback is and what a pullback isn't. Now, some people would call this a pullback. This to me is too small of a move. This to me is a hesitation on the way up. I do not call that a pullback. Now, if you're looking at the daily, there's probably a pullback there. However, we're not looking at the daily. We're looking at the weekly, which means the weekly low is all the way down here at about 1,000. It's not super important, like I said, because this price action is like nothing. So we're not too worried about that. However, we come up here. We have formed a pullback. We are in a bullish move, so we're going to call this, we don't want to see this on the monthly, we're going to call this a weekly week high. Weekly week high. Weekly week high. Then we're in our pullback. Nothing's happening. This is all internal structure. Let's hit the play button and let it grow. Give me that boss. No boss yet. And there it is. Break a structure on the weekly. Yay! So we broke structure on the weekly. We delete this because that isn't okay. Nope. I want to delete the whole line. Thank you. I'm going to delete that. Now this becomes a weekly break of structure. Hello. Thank you. Or a W boss. Now the weekly low just so happens to be the same as the monthly low. And this does happen. Do it in order. And whenever you see something like this, when you see multiple levels at different time frames, that means it's pretty strong. So if both monthly and weekly are the same exact level, this is an extremely powerful level. It's not likely to be broken. Of course, we know what Bitcoin did from here. However, in a live situation, when you see multiple time frames lining up at the same spot, it's very powerful. Okay, so keep that in the back of your head. So we're gonna continue. Whoops. Can't see the chart. Gonna continue. Let's move this down here. Okay, so now we've had ourselves another pullback. So we have our pullback here. This is big enough to be one. And this line is so small, I can't write W boss on it, so I'm just going to write W. So we have our break of structure. We now have a new weekly low. And where do we know the low is from? From the candle that was the high to the candle that broke the structure. And that low is right here. Can be confusing to know where the low is because it looks like it should be right here, but it is in this. Here, let's do that so we can see it a little bit better. It is on this candle right here. So that now becomes our weekly strong low. This weekly level is no longer relevant. We're getting rid of it. Still our monthly, so we're not changing that. Obviously, this hasn't happened yet, so we don't know this is our monthly, but we're looking at the weekly right now, so shut up. All right, hey, no, don't you right there. So now let's go ahead and hit play, let it grow. That is another pullback. So just spit on my screen. So now we have another pullback here. This is our high here. Broke structure there. Another weekly break of structure. This weekly low now becomes irrelevant. Sorry about that. This is now our low in between. Lost my train of thought because my phone ticked. Okay, this is now our low. We don't have a high up here just yet because we don't have a new pullback. But this now becomes the level to beat on the weekly chart. So let's continue on. What's going to happen, huh? Oh, whoa, my friends. Our first chotch. It finally happened. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this level. Thank you. Oh, are these going to show up on lower time frames? I don't want you to show up on lower time frames. Oh, wait, no, I do want you to show up on lower. I want you to show up on higher time frames. Did it backwards. It's okay. This level got broke, so we just had a change of character. So we're going to do weekly chop. Oh, my. Thank you. Weekly chotch. Remember, we're waiting for that candle to close. If it wicks it, it doesn't count. So now we have a weekly chotch. This now becomes... Hello, thank you. This now becomes a weekly strong high and a monthly... Whoops. Gall darn it. You know what? Let me do a second line so that I can do it below it. Can I even... Yes. Because we chotched, we now have a differing view here, right? So the monthly week high hasn't changed. This is still a monthly week high. Monthly is bullish at this point. However, weekly has just turned bearish. So now we're going to change that here. Weekly is bearish. This is where it gets a little tricky, right? Because we don't know what's going to hold. We don't know if the week high is going to hold for the monthly chart. We don't know if the strong high is going to hold for the weekly chart. So it gets a little bit tricky to know what's going to happen. So in reality, what you need to do is watch it develop and see what happens. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to let it play out. We are now in a weekly pullback. You could consider this a weekly pullback. It certainly looks like it. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. So that was our low, right? This was our week low. Then what do we have here, my friends? We have another swing fail pattern right here. This is a weekly SFP / sign of weakness. So once again, well, actually, this is a sign of strength. Sorry. Sign of weakness is when it fails to break the high. A sign of strength is when it fails to break the low, because we're looking for price to now reverse in the other direction. It wicked this weak low, but it did not break it. Which means it's a swing fail pattern. The intention for price was to break this low because we had a chotch. Right? It didn't. It failed, so it continued up. So let's watch that play out. This is all inner structure. No weekly close above that line until now. So now we just had ourselves another change of character. So now we're going to get rid of that one. The monthly has not changed, right? The monthly was only a wick. The weekly broke this level. I'm going to put it here. I know it's not right on, but I want to be able to see it. So we now have a weak, well, I guess I can still see it. It really should be on the level, right? Clicks right there, double click, a weekly chotch. So this, my friends, is what we call a double chotch. Price was telling us we were turning bearish when it chotched, but we had a swing fail pattern with a sign of strength, which is a counter signal that we were going in the other direction. Now you would think, but Zix, isn't this a pullback? It's not a pullback because this is our low and this was our high. These were the levels we were looking to break, not this. This is inner structure. Now, if you're looking at the daily, maybe there's a level broken here. We're not looking at the daily, we're looking at the weekly. So it's important to keep that in mind. So now that we've chotched up here and we immediately pulled back, we have a new high. And this, my friends, is where it gets even more confusing. This is now a weekly weak high. Why is it weak? Because we had a bullish chotch. We had a bullish chotch. This trend is looking up, right? This is an uptrend. We had a weekly chotch here on the way up. Even though we had one on the way down, we had another one on the way up, which gave us some very bullish thoughts. It may be a little confusing to see the weekly above the monthly, but that is just how it works. So let's let it play out a little bit more. Of course, we all know what happened here. Inner structure, nothing's broken, nothing's happening really. I mean, a lot's happening, but nothing's happening as far as swing structure. These were dark days, weren't they? No closures, bam, closure. We're almost caught up, my friends. We're very close. So now, this is no longer a weak high. So let's get rid of that. We just had ourselves another chotch. This was our weekly weak low, and it broke. I'm sorry, this was actually a strong low before. Forgot to change it. Because we chotched bullish up here, this became, no. This level became irrelevant. I'm sorry, I'm messing myself up here. This level became irrelevant when we chotched. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Which means we had to redraw at the wick, right? Which was here, which we haven't actually broken yet. So this became the weekly strong low. And that was still the weekly weak high up there. I'm not going to put it back. Because we all know that this gets, we're live. We all know that this gets broken. So once this breaks, this now becomes a chotch once again. Right to here. Remember, we're not looking at wicks, we're looking at candle closures. So we have ourselves, once again, a weekly chotch. So now where is the weekly high? Well, we look from the first candle to where it broke. The highest is right here. Weekly is bearish again, so now this is a strong high. We don't have a pullback on the weekly yet, so we don't know where the weekly low is. However, weekly is now bearish once again. I didn't update it when we went bullish, but it's back to bearish anyway, so shut up. So now weekly is bearish once again. And now, once again, we have a little bit of a confusing situation up here where we have a weekly strong high above a monthly weak high, which doesn't make a lot of sense, right? I mean, if you're thinking about it logically, we would expect the monthly to be broken, but the weekly not to be broken. But when this happens, I'm not necessarily going to try to trade right here. I'm going to let this play out and see what happens, because for the important thing about swing structure is you have to keep the higher time frame in picture in mind. So if you're looking for a weekly bounce back up there, but you're keeping the higher time frame in mind, you're expecting monthly to break and continue up, which would destroy the weekly, right? It would destroy that level. So it's really important to when you get differing opinions on swing structure here, it's very important to let this play out before you make a hasty decision and then have a losing trade. This is low probability. It's 50-50 in here what's going to happen. It could be something in the market, a news-related thing could determine what happens here. But if you really feel like you have to trade it, you're looking for this to be broken and go higher because monthly remains bullish. And I think monthly will remain bullish no matter what. So now there's monthly and weekly. So the next time frame down is going to be daily. And we are going to pick this up. I'm not going to do this so slowly. Then 4 hour, then 15 minute. And then if you want, you can do the 1 minute. I'm not going to do that. I don't trade on the 1 minute because it's super aggressive. But you can if you feel like you're confident. But we're going to go ahead and continue. I'm going to get us onto a daily. I don't think we need to go back quite so far. We can be a little bit more close to where we are now. Otherwise, this video is going to be 6 hours long. And I think hopefully you guys are starting to understand how market structure works to know how this goes. But I do want to go all the way down to the 15 minute. And I'm going to do that right now. Be right back. All right, we're back. We're going to go ahead and start here from the daily. We have a very clear uptrend. So I'm not going to bother marking it, but we do have a low. We have a daily strong low right here. Which, by the way, by all means, save yourself some templates to help you save yourself some time from typing. Here's how you do it. Hello, double click. Type in what you want to do. Save template, and then just type it in here. I haven't actually done for all time frames, but you can see I'm kind of getting started here. So there's a daily strong low. Because we had a break of structure right here. Right? This is a daily boss. And then we continued up. So let's do that now. That is a pullback. So we are going to mark it. We now have ourselves a pullback. And that's the wrong candle. That's the right candle. This level, no longer relevant. That becomes our daily strong low. Now we're looking to continue up, right? That's the idea. We're in an uptrend. It's definitely, you can see the momentum is slowing down, and that can be a good indicator that this isn't going to change. But that's not what we're doing right now. Okay. So we immediately chotched on the daily, as you can see. So let's get rid of this level. Not immediately, but you know what I mean. And right there. What the heck was that? I don't want whatever that was. So now we had a daily chotch right here. So where's our high? Right? Where's our high? Write this. So we know what we're doing here. Our high is the same as the weekly. So now the weekly and the daily are both strong highs at this point, right? So I like to do it that way since they're both. So there's high confluence here. There's high confluence that this is going to be a good spot to bounce. Both daily and weekly are strong highs. So we don't expect that level to get broken. Of course, we still have bullish on the monthly. But as far as daily and weekly, there's good confluence that we're not breaking this level. So let's continue playing. Okay. So now this is another daily pullback right here, which we did break. So now this daily high up here is no longer relevant. Whoops. Come on. Thank you. That daily high up there, no longer relevant. Where's our daily high now? Right here. So this now becomes our daily strong high. This now becomes our daily strong high. So now, immediately we are already in a pullback. Already, I played it a little too far. So this now becomes our daily week low. This becomes our daily week low. This becomes our daily strong high. Any movement in between here is inner structure. we do know what eventually happens. This level, again, no longer relevant because we we broke structure down here. Like so. Now we have a D-boss. D-boss. Now, where's our high? The highest point between those two lines, which just so happens to be right here. So now this becomes our daily strong high. So now we are already in a pullback. This is a pullback on the daily. So this becomes our daily weak low. We're almost caught up, my friends. So let's let it play out. And we we broke structure right away. So once again, that level no longer relevant. Break of structure here. Where's my, here we go. So daily, I should be updating this, I keep forgetting. So daily is bearish right now. So keep an eye on that. I already know that's not going to change. Daily is going to remain bearish. But we don't know that as the chart is developing, right? We don't know that. So we have a new low right here. Daily weak low. The idea is that this level will get broken. The idea is that this strong high will not get broken. Gotta use my templates, save myself some time. Okay, so here's where it gets a little tricky. Now everybody's getting bullish because look, we have daily chach. So now we're going to change daily bullish. And if you recall, everybody was very bullish here. This level, no longer relevant. Well, I mean, it will be, but just hang that thought. This level is broken. We have a daily chach right here. So where's our low? Our daily strong low becomes right here. Whoops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't have... don't get out of here. We don't have a pullback quite yet. But we will. So let's let it... I'm sorry, we pulled back immediately. This is the pullback right now. Which means right now our daily... This is another thing where it gets a little confusing too, because we have you know what? This is a pullback. I'm sorry. Right here. So this becomes our daily weak high. Right here. This is now the level to beat. This is the level we don't anticipate will break. Inner structure. Whoa, 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 slow down. Break of structure. This level no longer relevant. We just had ourselves a break of structure, another bullish move. Oh my goodness, everybody. Buy your spot, right? Buy your spot bags right now. Market's improving. So where's our low now? Right here. It's now a daily strong low. Right here. We are already in a pullback right away. So this is now a daily weak high. Now here's the thing. When you see these pullbacks right away and you don't see a solid uptrend forming, that should be a signal to you, just like a swing fail pattern was over there, that should be a signal to you that there's not a lot of momentum here. It's not convincing that we're going to pump. Okay, so now we're very close to catching up to where we are right now. We had a chach, so this level is going to be done. This level's done. This was our chach. This is now a daily chach. So once again, daily has changed to, bearish. So now we want to know where our high is, our level to beat. To chach again, and that's all the way up here. Hello. So the daily strong high is all the way the hell up here. We are in a bit of a pullback, so let's let that play out. Yeah, that's a pullback, my friends. It's definitely a pullback. So now this becomes our daily weak low. I don't have one saved for that. So let's do it right now. You can see it in action. So now we have our daily weak low here, our daily strong high here. Anything in between is inner structure. What happens? Oh my goodness, we broke it. Oh my lorsh. My lorsh? What's a lorsh? Okay, we broke it. So that level up there, no longer relevant. We have a daily break of structure here. Where's our high? We know where our high is, right here. This becomes daily strong high. I hope this is sinking in. I hope this is making sense here. This is not a pullback because it's... I do not call this a pullback. It's not enough, in my opinion. Oh, we're live. We're live. So there you are, daily strong high. We do not have a daily low yet because I don't consider this a pullback. I consider this just a consolidation. And daily is bearish. I don't expect this level to break. But next up, we have 4 hour. And I'm going to do the 4 hour a lot faster than I did the daily because this video is dragging on a little bit. And I need to get it finished. But I'm going to go ahead and get the chart where it needs to be, and then we will be right back. Okay, 4 hour. We can do much quicker. We have a 4 hour path down here. This is a pullback, in my opinion, right here. Whoop. So then we continue down, break a structure, come down, new level to beat. I didn't bother with the replay because I'm close to here. New level to beat. This became our 4 hour weak low. This is our 4 hour strong high. Break a structure here. Like so. Where's our high? Not there. Right now, our high becomes the same as the daily. So daily / 4 hour, strong high. We continue down. We had a pullback right here. Break structure, 4 hour. Where's our high? Right here. So now, as you can see from the 4 hour, we have a 4 hour strong high here, which I don't have a template for. 4 hour strong high. Save. Problem. And we have a 4 hour weak low right here, because this is our pullback. Right here. 4 hour weak low. So now when we're looking at the 4 hour chart, it appears as though we've already had our test on the strong high, and we're working down to break this low. So we very well could continue down here. Keep an eye out for a swing fail pattern on the 4 hour chart. We could get a situation where we have a candle that wicks but doesn't close. So something like this doesn't really show it. Well, just imagine that's a wick. How do I okay, that didn't really work. But just imagine that this wicks it and doesn't. That could be a swing fail pattern. That could be a bullish sign that we're gonna go up here. And now if you're looking nope. Now, if you're looking for a higher time frame confirmation, we do have a daily strong high up here, and then a weekly strong way up here. I wouldn't be too worried about that right now, but we do have a daily strong high up here that hasn't been tested yet that we could potentially break. Remember, we haven't had a pullback on daily yet, so we don't know what the low is on daily. Don't know until there's a pullback. Which this almost was one. Almost. Didn't make it, but it almost was one. I'm anticipating this to continue down, like I just drew, like this, and then eventually, have another pullback and, continue whatever it's going to do. But we don't know. Now, if you were trading this, you probably would have entered right here. On the Discord channel, I did post this short here. What am I doing? And this is what I do to determine entries. I posted this short right here. And so far, it's looking pretty good. It would have been, this was how I would have done it. This, like this. Not the biggest risk to reward ever, but the trade would have been working so far. Typically, when you're looking to trade these patterns, if you want to be more aggressive, you can try to enter in at the point of control. If you want to be less aggressive, you can try to enter in at the value area high. Obviously, that would have worked here. We put our stop just above that level because we can, remember, we can wick it. If you put it right at the level, you may get stopped out, but you should just put it right above it. Had you traded the value area high, it's almost a 6 RR. The target is always going to be the level to beat. You're not trying to do this, okay? You're not trying to do this. Now, if you can get a lower time frame entry and you're looking to hit a low like this monthly low, way the hell down here, that's a different story. But when we're trading on the 4 hour, we're looking to meet the 4 hour. So now, if we go down to the 15-minute, this is where we get into precision and pinpointing. Now, obviously, let's actually keep that. Obviously, I had an entry there on the 4 hour, right? This was my entry. Target is that level right there. Obviously, this is my entry. How do we know when is the right time to enter? Well, we do the same swing structure that we've been doing on all the other time frames to see when we get a chotch on the 15-minute, right? So let's see, we had a bullish chotch here on the 15-minute, right here. This is a 15-minute chotch. Then we had the low was here, came back up, we broke structure right here on the 15-minute, like so. This is a 15-minute boss. We pulled back again, broke structure again, right here. 15-minute boss. Our low is this level right here. This is our low. This is our strong low. Continued up. And this is where it gets a little tricky because you may not think this is a pullback. However, that's a pretty significant move. I'm calling that a pullback. So now we have our high. There, this low becomes irrelevant. What's our low to beat? Right here. So now we broke structure. However, the low from that structure broke right here. We have ourselves a 15-minute chotch. So now when you are looking at a lower time frame chotch, when you have confluence on a higher time frame entry, this is when you're looking to enter. Now, don't necessarily just mark it in here. You can just mark it in here, but most of the time there is going to be a pullback, right? All of those every time. I'm on magnet. Every time you see this, right? There's a pullback. Every time there's a pullback. So you're trying to time that pullback. So when you see that chotch, you're now looking for where to enter. So the price will continue down, and then there's going to be a pullback. Now, if you want to get real crazy, see if I can find this on the 1 minute. This is where it gets tricky. You look for a chotch on the 1 minute. So we have, or a break of structure or whatever. We have now the 15-minute, this is hard to look at. We have the 15-minute chotch right here, right? And even the 1 minute is mostly bearish. But you see right here, that 1 minute broke that structure right here. So you could mark it in there, or you could try to time this here. In all reality, if I was trying to do that, hello? If I was trying to, can I find where I was, please? Thank you. On the 15-minute, what I typically do when I see that chotch is I draw myself a volume profile at the spot just above it. So right where the chotch is, I draw a volume profile, and then I look for the POC, right? This wouldn't have hit. This would not have hit. The value area low would have, so you could consider that too. But this point of control would not have hit, and I would have missed out on that short. But I mean, that's okay, right? You don't have to get every trade. For me, I was content with the volume profile on the 4 hour for a short entry. This was, wow, that's really zoomed in. That's too zoomed in. It's hurting my face. This to me was good enough because we had the chotch, the break of structure, bearish continuation, and this went ahead and it would have worked. I didn't actually take this trade because I was preparing to make this video, but it would have worked. Where is my, here it is. So 4 hour, bearish, 15-minute, bearish, everything's bearish. And that, my friends, an hour later, is how you do swing structure on multi-time frame analysis. I know this was a very long video. I know it was painful to get through, but if you had the stamina to watch it through, you are going to improve your game. Even if all you're doing is trading the trend. Trading the trend on its own will up your probability, will up your win rate. Because if you don't know how to really accurately determine what the macro, what each trend is in a higher time frame, you're not able to trade the trend. And it's easy to say everything's bearish right now. It's very easy to say, but all we have to do is break this 4 hour strong high. And then all of a sudden, 4 hour is bullish. We break this, we close a 4 hour over this line, 4 hour becomes bullish, right? That quickly. So you can be looking for longs at that point. You're looking to enter longs on the 15-minute time frame, right? Because we're entering the time frame above. You're not trying to long on the 4 hour because the daily is bearish. I hope that makes sense. And I know it doesn't, maybe if it does, maybe it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but I hope that makes sense. If we are bullish on the 4 hour, that means you have confluence on the 15-minute to look for a long to target a 4 hour entry, to target a 4 hour TP, not a daily TP. The daily is bearish. Now, if we're trading on the 4 hour, even though the 4 hour is bullish, the daily is bearish. I'm saying if we break this, we're not bullish right now, we're bearish. But if we break this, we're going to be trading, if we're trading the 4 hour, we're looking for an entry on the daily up here somewhere. And there is a ton of volume in this, so it would be very difficult to get past this level. It could happen, obviously. You never know what the hell the chart's going to do. But it's all about probability. As good as you are, you're not gonna win 100% of your trades. And that, my friends, is going to do it for this episode or this video. I am going to do more on this topic. There are also other confluences for entry and take profit that I will do videos on as well. But for now, I hope you have a basic understanding of market structure. If you don't, join me in the Discord server linked in the description below, or leave a comment on the video. I hope to see you guys next time. Take it easy.